Truth seekers, what's going on? It's Friday. It's been a long time. Late getting started. Give me an audio test so we can get right into a few things tonight. Welcome. Let me know you hear me okay, because I've been setting up the equipment, changing it up a little bit so that we can get down into some storylines. So audio test, check. Let me know right now, and then we'll hop into what we're going to be talking about. So I'll just wait for that from you guys right now. We got a thumbs up with Steven. All right, so we got a thumbs up. Sounds good. All right, that's good. All right, so what we're going to talk about tonight, and really we're going to get into a few things tonight. I just want to kind of go over some stuff. We're going to dive into some of these conspiracies that what I call history and moments, just different things that we can kind of talk about, but the hidden agendas, some of the manipulation. As you know, we are going into this truth versus authority type situation. And that's where we have evolved to, from high strangeness to truth versus authority. And as all of you know, that it's all about the truth. And we talk about this authority stuff out here all the time. But let's get into it. What if they told us history was set in stone, right? A lot of us, we think that wars happen. We know that government rise and fall and everything is more of a logical explanation. But what if none of this was actually true, right? All right. So what if behind every major event, there is a hidden agenda playing out in plain sight? I've been doing a lot of this now. I've been really trying to get with some of these hidden agendas. So how deep does this manipulator run? It runs really, really deep, because we're talking about secret societies pulling the string, orchestrating these events from centuries, and some of the most shocking connections that you really will ever hear about. And so I just want you to understand, trust me, because the pieces are all there, and if you know where to look, and we've been trying to do that lately. So therefore, what's coming up is going to kind of really, hopefully, shake some of your understanding, and as well as some of the core truth. And as always, with our trademark now of you may not believe it. So I hope everybody's doing well. Once again, I'm Roderick Martin. As all of you, if you anybody new here, you know, you didn't know, but you do know, but now you do. We are now, I think, as of today, 18,700 truth seekers strong. We was 18,302 back on Tuesday, and we're now 18,700. I want us to get this marathon to 25,000. That's going to be our first celebration. We did our first one last year when we hit 10,000, but I want to do a 25K run. But it's going to take all of you kind of share the content, make some comments, and I'm going to try to do a little more engagement of getting down to it. Any of the moderators here tonight, make sure you guys moderate tonight. And again, welcome each and other one of you, the members and everyone else that are here. Let's get down into the story. We always been told that history just happened. We're talking about governments rise and fall, and we like I said, we got wars. We got the wars starting in. We got the economies, which they boom and crash. And we think all of this is a natural thing, but I'm here to tell you that it's all been orchestrated. The more deeper that I've gone into a lot of this research and secret societies, truth, looking into more of the consciousness, this reality that we're in, I have so much exposure now that it is crazy that we wanted to give a shout out to Mary. She says she shared the video. Yeah, if we can get any of you, I miss y'all too. Really, you know, I really do. So yeah, I need all of y'all to begin to share. Anybody who share it now, let me know so I can give you a shout out. And make sure you do, because if you put share it there, I'm gonna shout out anyway, even if you didn't. But it's no reason not to. So we will definitely make sure we do that. But the other part of this is, what if I tell you once again that all of this has been orchestrated, and they actually have us under their thumb for centuries? And you might be saying who, and we'll get into that, feeding us the lies, keeping us distracted and pulling the strings behind the scenes. But everything you've been told is part of a larger agenda. And I know a lot of you've heard terms of, you know, New World Order and all of those things, but we'll get down to it. But I dug into this, and the more I cover it, it's more clear that it's not just a random chance, y'all. It's really not. It's from the Illuminati shaping the revolutions of our government, staging wars for profit. And really, the truth is far darker. And I think that the whole system has been designed to keep us in line. And I always said it, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. And why not? They try to keep us blind. But when you think about the media, who is the most conglomerate of it all, that's controlling all, the right story, corporations making us, the whole thing is in connection. So if the truth has been manipulated for so long, then they are really pulling these strings, and that's something we got to do. But it is the elites, the ones who own the media, the ones who control the governments, the one who profit from every crisis that we have. And give a shout out to our newest, let me make sure I have all this, our newest member, Mary. Let's do that for Mary as well. So, but once again, boy, that was a long clap there. But they've been doing this for decades, and I'm talking about for centuries. And it's time for us to expose them. All of us, the truth seekers, as we share. I'm going to do my job, my part in this. And this isn't just a conspiracy theory anymore. It is really a pattern of control that is woven everything into everything around us. And I think that if we don't start asking enough questions on what's happening, we will never uncover it. It's just plain and simple. We can talk about current day stuff with Pup Daddy and all of this stuff, and let it be known this stuff has been going on for quite some time. And it's not just in his circles, it's in other circles. I was talking to someone earlier today, and they were just saying, Roderick, this is the norm. She said, I've been doing this stuff since the early 90s, and they were doing the same thing, coercing or trying to get photos or hidden cameras, and it's not just him. So I think it's something that they go into. But anyway, the stakes are high. We can talk about our freedom. We can talk about the future. And again, I'm just getting started. We'll get down deep with it. But what if those powers are more interested in controlling the truth than protecting it? See, that's something for you to think about. When we think about secret societies or cult is not a bad word. It's just a meaning hidden information, or in secret society, especially in Illuminati, it's the enlightened ones, right? That means that they know something we don't know. And so while they are protecting the truth, but on our end, they're hiding the truth. And as we should know by now, those things are a lot of more information to do that as well. Now, I think we've been led to believe that the system is designed to protect us. But what if it's really a mechanism of control? Most people think that the government is in place to protect you. Hell no, it's not in place to that. It's to have control of the masses of people, along with all of these other things. And I think that we need to think about that. But if the media was truly free, and then I think that we will see more than what I would call a one-sided story, because they're getting paid. The media get paid. There are somebody saying, hey, man, make sure you put this story out here like this. Make sure you put that story out here like that. Oh, we got Cosmo Astrology in the house. David is in the house. Y'all give him a shout out. He came to Dallas a couple of weeks ago. And even though it was my town, my turn to do the hospitality, he came in and just, treated me as well as a king. And he's a king. And we had a great time. We went to the YouTube Vid Summit to learn more about YouTube and a lot of strategies, which you all will be seeing as I'm uploading video content now. But give a shout out. He was here this whole week. We spent a lot of time together, and the guy's serious. And as he's getting his stuff together, you're going to see a lot more of him. So y'all give a shout out to him as well. But as I continue, and here's a question. I want you guys to engage, every one of you to engage in what we're talking about. What part of, or how can I put it like this? How can I tell you when the media is hiding or manipulating information? Or how can you tell? Because I just try to read between the lines. But have any of you watched some stuff and they're lying? Tell a truth seeker, share it with the audience in our community, what to look for. How would they know to be prepared for the actual lie when this is right there in front of you? I mean, I'm talking like right there. They stand there with the cameras. They go, well, today global warming is, such and such. And although it has no significant harm to the earth, it's just a little hotter than it was 10 years ago. You get what I'm saying? It's like bullshit, right? They just put the stuff out there, but why would they do that as well? The other part is, have you ever questioned something everyone else around you believe, right? And what would that experience be like? Because see, I've said this all the time. I've said that the most hardest person to really just going to be dealing with, it's someone in your family, friends, circle, love, or work environment, whatever, that all their lives they have believed something to be true. All of their lives they believe something to be true, and then when they're presented with new information, it's harder for them to convert over to the point of what has been true all their lives is no longer true. And sometimes they just don't care. They will not believe you, right? They're not going to do it. And it's just the opposite. There's sometimes people have things that all their lives that they said is true or untrue. And then you give them enough facts and information, which comes here. And really, that's what happens here on both sides of the fence. But then they cannot converge over to the thought that what's happening is now true. And we can call that cognitive dissonances, right? Because it's no different than people who knew you when you were in high school, meet you now in your 40s or 20s or 30s. You're not the same person as they know. And all of a sudden now they see you different and they go, oh, you've changed, or you this, or they want you to keep it 100 from the hood when you were, but you've changed. And they can't get the new reality of this physical reality that we're in of you now. And that is a bad and horrible situation when you got those people surrounding you, because everybody should be critical thinkers. But anyway, that's just another part of the story. And the other part is, if you discover that everything you thought was a lie, like I said, what would you do next? And why don't y'all get part of the conversation? If you thought that everything that you knew was a lie right now, even your parents, just say you find out that your parents, everything was just a lie, or whatever, what would you do? And that's something I think a lot of people experience when it comes down to that. But everything seems normal, right? When we think about it, just another day, just another headline. But when you stumble upon something that they never wanted us to see, like Operation Northwood, if you ever go back and look that up, you'll probably never heard of it, right? Well, that's one of the things, because they try to cover it up, right? And it was a government plan to stage a terrorist attack on American soil to justify war. Go look it up. We're going to expose some of this stuff. Yeah, YouTube might be like, but anyway, yeah, Operation Northwood was a government plan. They wanted to create, and we can also say that was happening with 911, right? And all that other time, but they were willing to sacrifice innocent people for control for this whole thing. And when I go back, like I said, when you go back to 911 back in the day, remember they said that building at any given point was supposed to have 30,000 people in it. Y'all remember the story? Go look it up. And that was the biggest fear when all those buildings came down, that this was so many people who had been unalived in this situation. And so it had 30,000 people, but it was only 5,000 people showed up that day to work. Only 5,000 people at the peak of time showed up. How did other 25,000 people knew something was going on? Now, I'm not speculating. In sadness in prayers to all the family and members and people who have any connectivity, immediate family, anyone who was affected by that situation, my prayers are always still out to you, because I think that was, when we look at the underlying stuff, that was something that just was orchestrated. We have to know that. But 25,000 people didn't show to work on a day that normally 30,000 people. Go back and look into that, man, because I think we're dealing with so much bigger when it comes down to that scenario. And maybe we'll do a show on that someday. I think it's work. We should do that. We have some other things that we can go into, but what if this is just the beginning, what we're talking about today, and they're willing to fake these attacks, and what else are they willing to orchestrate? So if we think about the slimy big secret keepers that we have, we know that they're willing to orchestrate all kinds of stuff. The history have proved in the name of national security, even like now with this UFO crap, they're willing to cover, lie, and show and keep things from us. But we're talking about financial crashes that have happened all the time. I was watching a movie, and I forget the name of it was Sneakers. And if any of you ever seen it, it's really good. And these guys were hackers, and it was just a group of them. And one of their friends went to prison from a young age, and he started working with these mafia organization. And the guy was like, how do we change the system? He was like, you change control. And he was like, well, you know how we used to do it. Yeah, we used to crash an internet site. You go, yeah. He's all much bigger than that. He's we would crash a bank. He said, oh no, I'm better than that now. He's what? He's like, yeah, we can crash an economy. We can change everything. And he was like, they can do that on purpose. But like I said, it's just one of these things of the pattern of manipulation. And give a shout out. The Body Electric Supplement is in the house. I should have gave all of y'all shout out. Damon is here, Mary's here, Renee is here, Steve is here, and we already said something about our guy David is in the house as well. So if they lied to us about this particular Norwood thing, what else is buried out there? What else have they convinced us to accept without questioning? Because that's the main thing. I tell all y'all, I tell you, question the narrative. You have to. It's not about how. Never focus on a how. Always the most important thing is why. When you hear it in the news, such and such a plane went down, 230 some people, lost their lives and fell into the Bermuda Triangle, and then they want to end the clip. No, we need to know why 230 some people went down in that particular plane at that situation, and that changes the whole different scenario. But if you see, once you uncover one lie, and I've been doing it in the last few videos. We just doing a basic step when it comes down to the Vatican, and we're gonna break open all of this stuff because, like I said, for some reason we just gonna have to go on this journey of truth versus authority. Okay, and if you're just joining us now, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like. Like I said, we are up 400 new subscribers since 2 days, and so we want to get our 25,000. We want to definitely do that, but let's go back into this thing. Operation Norwood. This is what we're talking about. So I want y'all to do your Google place on that. And, what if they uncover one lie and then the narrative starts to unveil? Because if Operation Norwood that I mentioned earlier was a possibility, then of course I went into 9/11. What about every other war? What other national emergencies that we have out here? And once we go look at it, I think they've been playing with us the whole time. Why are we now focusing on these lies? Because we're in an aquarium age, right? We're now in the age of a consciousness, of infinite consciousness, awareness, and truth. It should be the thing that everybody is searching, because now more people are, quote unquote, opening their eyes, then I think it's a little better. But therefore, if we don't start questioning everything, we know that the full extent of the truth will not be something that they're going to share with us. They're not going to do it. And I'm not just talking about rewriting a few history books. I'm talking about dismantling the whole system of control, all the way back down to ancient civilizations, all the way back down to these freaking goddamn pyramids. Okay. Symbolism. I'm studying a lot of symbolism, and it's more and more apparent that we think as a society, listen up, we think as a society that we're more technological advanced than our ancestors. Hell no. I think we're now a lot more, as a collective, a lot dumber than they were. I'm saying not you as an individual, but I'm saying compared to them back then. They used telepathy to speak. They used healing bodies with frequency of thoughts, and they was moving things, portals, and they moved through timelines, and they was able to move rocks and stuff with their minds. We lost all of that. We don't even have machinery that could do that today. So I think we are now a lesser, remember the aqueducts and the pyramids and how the acoustics, and they can speak, and the airflow and lining things up with the sun and the energy. We don't do none of that today. We don't even know any of that. We just don't. And so I think, again, that's something there as well that we need to look into a lot more closer than we have. So it's just one of those things. Let me see here. Wow. Okay. What about this scenario? Okay. I was just looking for my transition here. Okay. But anyway, if you find any value tonight, and you feel that you want to, support the show, you can do that. You can definitely do that. Our cash out, maybe one of our, moderators will stick that in the chat. It's going to be $ at Why the Big Secret. Actually, I can do that for you, and we can do that. We are a community supported show, so if that's something that you feel up on you and whatever value, then let's do it. So why the big secret anyway? So let's keep going. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to have a good one tonight. So look, I'm misspelling. I'm just rushing it through. I should be a little more patient of doing this. Yeah, I should have been just a lot more patient to do that. All right. There we go. All right. So that's it. If you want to give a shout out or a contribution, you can do that. It's right there in the chat. And in fact, I appreciate it. But anyway, let's go back to what I'm saying. If we don't question everything, once again, we'll never know what's happening. And they're going to keep us in the dark. When I say the elites, the big secret keepers, because that is what they do. They're going to make sure they keep us in the dark. And when it's time to go deeper, because there's a lot of rabbit holes out there. It's just not one rabbit hole. And I think it's there. But here's one of the things. I will say that if there's one piece of evidence that we find in any of these lies that they have been hidden from us, therefore, that will mean that everything else after that is the lie, right? So we can think about it first. So, I've been doing a lot of studying, and I'll go into the reptilian. So now I'm like, wait a minute. We have the secret societies, okay, which are hiding information. These are ruled at some point by 13 families, which we're going to get into someday. These families are part of the Illuminati and Masonic, all these different organizations, which are branches off of everything else. And believe me, they ain't working together. Some of them hate each other. This group, this left over here, but they still know the secrets and they're working. That's why we got skulls and bones. And this is why we got all these different ones. But they all go back to all the way back to the other side of the world, to the reptilian side of things. And I'm doing more and more of this discovery, and I'm telling y'all, it is, I don't know. I think it's something that we need to look at. But what would make anybody question what I would say the official narrative for the first time? And I think that what would do that would be really, if your intuition is telling you that what you're hearing is just not the truth at all, right? It's just not something there. Share the love, Roderick. Roderick, big secret. Yeah, share the love for Roderick. Let me put that on the screen. There we go. That one right there. There you go. Appreciate it, Mary, for putting a cash out there. Monica putting it out there as well. Thank you all. And then I will check and see. As always, if you want to be the one to test it to make sure it's working tonight, you can do that, because sometimes I don't know if it's working. In fact, I don't know. Let me see. It's not making any noises. It should make noises if somebody was sending something. All right, that's fine. Don't worry about that. Y'all know I'm funny. I'm fine. I think I'm funny, at least sometimes. Let me ask you a question for yourself. What have you ever felt something wasn't right and the evidence just didn't come clean? So if there's anything out there, any stories or something that you felt that's just not right, you want to discuss it, you can put it in the chat and we'll look at it in a minute and just kind of go into it from there. But one of the things that I looked into, I thought I had found the truth, but it was a different discovery when I say some of these web of lies were getting bigger. And it wasn't just about faking some of these terrorist attacks that we hear about or starting wars. This was only what I consider was the tip of the iceberg these days. And we have to come to realize that their manipulations stretch further into part of our lives. We're talking about politics. We're talking about economics, even our culture. These same elites who control the media, they profit from the war. They also behind, like I said before, some of these crashes and taking us into different things. So remember we was hearing, there was a rumor, I think about 90 days ago, everybody was saying the American dollar is about to go away, or man, the something that was happening over in Great Britain or Brexit, or I forget which one it was, but it was something happening over there that everybody was feeling that now all of a sudden these countries are leaving and it's going to make our dollar crash. And I'm like, really? Dude, do you think 200, 300, 400 years of preparation of control is going to go down because 3 smaller countries decide that they want to go take their dollar somewhere else? Heck no. Now the economy has changed a little bit, but it's not going to happen just like that. Stephen said, yes, evolution is true for every species on this planet except humans. All right, there we go. Y'all give Mark Eddy a shout out as well. Haven't talked with him in a while. And Low-key says Amon Ra still rules over the planet. He's just the angel of life. All right, so we can realize that 90% of the things we read, watch, hear, or control are just by these 6 corporations. Okay, and we're talking about corporations that are in bed with the government. You better know it. With the military-industrial complex, who really rules everything, just so you know, with Wall Street. And they're all working together to shape a narrative, once again, to keep us blind. And the question can always be, how deep does this manipulation go? And I think it's going to go everywhere. And it's, we can talk about the media. Let's go there for a second. We think that we are informed. Okay, we watching the news every day, and you watching the media, and you think, let me take this off the screen because nobody tested my Cash App. Shame on y'all. That's okay. That's all right. We're going to do it. we think that we're informed, but how many of us realize that 90% of what we read, watch, and hear is controlled by those 6 corporations? I'm serious. They control it all. You hear some of these people that break free from some of these media organizations and talk about how their editor controlled a story because someone else. And you remember the politic thing when they was talking about I forget the name of the magazine that was working with the ex-president, but they was talking about how they had catch and kill policies at a magazine. They would go out and catch these stories, and then they knew how to kill them, make sure they never saw the light of day. People never was going to hear about the truth when they do that. And like I said, they're there. We're talking about, that they're not just controlling politics, but they control the money. They control everything, controlling us, our minds. So we're going to do a lot of stuff on the conversation of the mind. We have to, because I think that's where it is. Y'all hear that noise, right? Ding, ding. There we go. All right, Miles. Y'all give Miles a shout out. It's working. All right, I'm glad you found me as well. Glad. Welcome home, Miles. That's what we're going to tell you. Welcome home, brother. Welcome home. And so once again, we're talking about if they control our perceptions. We already know we're in this reality of what I call it. We're in this altered reality. Y'all hear me say that as I evolve every day, and understand that when this physical reality is different. We are all one consciousness. We are all our infinite consciousness, or at least that's where we should reside in for the truth. Because when we look at authority is coming from what our mind thinks. And oftentimes there was a song at the Ghetto Boys or something back in the day, and I know some of y'all too young and remember that, but my mind playing tricks on me, right? My mind, you can alter what the mind sees. You got the mushrooms, you got all kind of stuff that'll take your mind on a trip. And they know this. They know to do this in a way that is undetected. So when they're controlling our minds, they're controlling our perceptions. And now we all know the biggest weapon of them all, the biggest is beliefs. They can control or have been trying to manipulate our beliefs. And how have they done that? With the biggest playbook and the biggest story that mankind has ever been told is the story of Jesus Christ, right? And so now I'm not saying he didn't exist. I'm just saying the story. You can go look up the facts. There was 27 different religious cultures, all had the same story, the same miracle, just a different name, as though that somebody said, well, this is the playbook that we're going to put out here. And if you think about secret societies, and we've been talking about the Vatican, and how the Vatican is the keeper of most of all of this stuff, if not all of it, that you got, in order to control 5 billion people, you got to get their minds and believing in something different than what well, not different, but the control mechanism, and then keep them focusing on going to heaven and living a different docile life here and keep the frequencies of life lower. And people like, well, don't worry about money. Don't worry about all this. And I'm going to have my mansion in heaven. Really? Really? You know, I can imagine that person, and my aunt used to tell me that, like, she's going to get her mansion in heaven, Roderick. And I can imagine, she's gone now, but I promised when she got there, I'm sure when she opened that door and she saw that empty ass room that had nothing in it and says, where's my damn mansion? And they said, well, who told you that? Because your mansion is down there on earth. Why do you buy you one or get you one? I'm sure if she can come back, she gonna say, son, the mansion, you better get it now or whatever, because there's no need for money where we going. So yeah, all right, okay. I'm just talking. I'm just saying. What's going on, Chad? What's happening in the house? And Miles, once again, thank you to you. I know, right? It's kind of crazy, but it's one of those deals. All right, so let me keep going. And all of those things are designed to keep us passive, as I already said, keep us from asking those questions. And we've done it ourselves too. Each one of you who have children, you have done it yourselves. You have made your children to, what's the word I'm looking for? Have to, you know, they ask them questions, because you remember kids would go, why, mama, why? And then you finally say, stop asking questions and just do what you told. And then you beat that into them over years and years and years. And then when they grow up, they just followers. They don't ask anything. They do what the authority says. And that could be anything to whoever they think is in authority because someone else said so. The teacher is in authority. I remember going to a place and the teacher was talking about some stuff that I knew was wrong. And I'm sitting here, how could you be? Now, I didn't question it, but I should have. But we teach our children to understand authority, and I'm not saying there's not some good authorities out there to follow. Yes, it is. There's a lot. But there are some bad ones, and there's some bad authority with some bad truths that we got to make sure that they understand that this is not the fact that's happening at this point. So we just go into that. That's just something we will talk about. Now, the other part of that is to distract everybody from anything else. This is why we have the media in the societies using the media to and I'm going to throw it out there. It's a new world order that they're working on. Okay. I was going to get to that later on in the show, but I'm just going to tap that in there and then we'll get back to it. It's the new world order. And they've always been talking about it. And we think it's going to happen in 2 to 3, 5 years. But when you think about the reptilians or the bad entities and things that is behind this global agenda and their spirits and all these things, they're not living on our timeline. They're not here 50, 80, 60, 70, 100 years. Their extension of life is a lot longer. So they can play a longer clock and say, okay, within 300 to 500 years, we will have every human kneeling to a rock. Or 300 to 500 years, every time a butterfly fly over, they go, oh, all hell, Zeus, because they done conditioned this. Remember the story about the fleas that they talk about, that you can have a flea that you put a bunch of fleas in here and you put a top on here, ouch, and you put a top and you and you put a top on it, the fleas are going to hit their head, all right? And then eventually, when you remove it, they're not going to jump as high anymore because they don't want to hit their head. They're trained. right? They're particularly trained. But here's what's the best part, and this is scientifically proven. When those fleas start having babies and the next generation is born, they're automatically programmed to only jump so high. They won't even attempt to come out the thing, even though the lid is gone, because they've been programmed, just like most of us, by our predecessors and everyone else. And like I said, it's time for us to take control of our minds. And therefore, if we don't expose some of these layers of lies, this is where I'm going with this, they'll keep feeding their version of reality to you. They'll keep feeding this over and over and over and over until it's almost like, you ever heard the fact that, how do they do this in a conspiracy theory? I'll train y'all real quickly. You can have part truth or a real truth in a conspiracy theory, and you can have a lie in a conspiracy theory. And the theory is that there's two things can be right at the same time, the lie and the conspiracy. But if you say the lie long enough, weaved it in with the truth long enough, ultimately it becomes one. And this is how we hear things called fake news or all of these other things that comes out, because this is what they start to do when it comes to that. So it's really important that we pay close attention to that. Now, I can say that I once upon a time thought I found the truth. But with every discovery, like I say, it's just getting bigger and 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 bigger. And I can just keep saying it. The lies I'm saying is bigger and bigger. But why do you think the deeper layers of the manipulation are often the hardest to expose? Is because they layer it such a way that when we think that we found the truth, okay, for example, there's a lot of people who's going to say, well, I'm woke, because they found out that, there's something that they didn't know before. I'm now woke. And they think that one piece of element of information makes them woke. And now that they're woke, they're going to walk, around with their lives as though they already have a solution. And therefore, they're not going to keep seeking deeper understanding, because now they are woke. And I tell everybody, if you think we know it all right now, then let me bag up. I think the most wisest person on the planet will be people who say that I don't know everything, and I don't claim to know everything, and I still trying to figure out everything. Because when you think somebody said that they got it all figured out, run and save yourself. That's all I'm saying, because there's got to be somewhere that they don't know some stuff. Chad says Fox News uses propaganda every day. It's part of the routine. Monica says break your program through DNA. Yeah, start biohacking like she does. And we may need to get her one of these days to do a class on biohacking and join me on one of these shows. We may do it on one of these Fridays. And do that. I think it may be worth it to give that a shot. We can do that. But here's the other part. Like I said, if we thought we know the full story, but I want you to know there's other things that I think is more disturbing when it comes down to it. And it's not about political control. It's not about economic domination. That is not what I'm about to talk about. I think it's bigger. I think, when I start looking at things, and I'm uncovered a few things that we'll talk about, is there is a true end game to what they're doing, people. There is a true end game. They are reshaping humanity itself. That is the global game of this. They're not just after our obedience. That is not the deal. They want to control what it means to be human. Okay? Let that sink in for a minute. What do you mean, Roderick? They want to control what it means to be human. Because, being a UFO investigator, and if you didn't know, and all the different TV shows that I've been in, and Discovery Channel, Ancient Aliens on History Channel, Gaia, and all of these things, I've been around a lot of people that talk about the extraterrestrials and when they come to Earth. That the number one thing that they say, that the Greys is a mechanical suit, and that some of these aliens, when they come here, they're coming here so they want to learn and feel and experience the human experience. It's something about our makeup. It's something about our will. It's something about our design. The perfection of, there's supposed to be some perfection to it, but there's something about it that galactically, it's an experience that they want to have. Just let that sink in. They've been using crisis, wars, and like I said, the pandemics and financial collapses, not just to control the experiment on us, but global manipulation was the end game of all of this. And this is where they're just warming us up, man. They're doing it, and they've been doing it. And like I said, I say it again, when we talked about the congressional hearing, we're going to have another one in November. So make sure y'all focus on that one, on the UAPs. And the first one was just grounds taking when we find out that, we got abandoned spacecraft, not crashed, recovered. We saying abandoned, meaning it landed, it didn't crash. And then they reached their destination and they got out and they are now walking among us. That should have been a front freaking headline news. I still talk about it today. I still talk about it because I think it's one of the most biggest revelations that came away from this thing. Not that there has been a spacecraft, and not that NASA got a machine that can do anti-gravity, and not that this one found a spacecraft, whatever. We got a body hidden somewhere. I'm saying that where is the one that's walking around here? Where? And how are they able to disguise themselves like that? Is it technology or is it biblical? Biblical, because when we say biblical, is chapter 1 verse 26 says, let's make men in our image and the likenesses of ourselves. Somebody who created some of these men, now I can't, humans, said we're going to make them look like us. We're going to put them in our likeness. And maybe that's the one who crashed the ship, got out of it, walked right into McDonald's, got him a Big Mac, and said, okay, welcome to Earth. And he walked right down. But who clothes did he take? What, she or he, whatever. I'm just saying, y'all don't ask those questions. I do. I be want to know. Can't deposit, withdraw the same day on Cash App. That sucks. Who can't deposit and withdraw on the same day? Oh, Mayor, I don't know what you mean on that. Oh, I'm just looking at y'all. You can, though. I mean, you can deposit into it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what. I'm just dipping. I just saw y'all could be having chat and I didn't see it up in there. But anyway, yeah, if you all want to, let me put this on top of the screen here. If you want to support the show, it's right there on the top. Cash App right there. It's a community funded show. We've had one support tonight already, so y'all give Miles a shout out. So I'm saying, back to my grievance of things, is there's something walking among us. So how? Right. And so if you go to that scripture and that's what it is, meaning, okay, maybe we look like them. So that gives them the ability to walk. Now, keep in mind, there's hundreds of different species out there. Okay. There's a lot. So it's not just that particular ones who's saying it, but whoever those people are and whoever decided to create that type of human or man was not the Holy Spirit of Son, Father, and Holy Ghost. Not in my book. I'm just saying, just mine. No one else's. We're not here for church. Don't have to condemn me. I'm just saying it's not mine. But if everything we uncovered so far was a simple distraction, and they want us to look at the wars, or in other words, what if they want us to looking at wars and media control while they was working on something else more sinister? And what could that be? Why they're distracting us? What is it that they could be doing behind the scenes that they want to know? And I think there's a lot of stuff out there and some documents if you want to look up. There's a lot of things that we're not just the pawns of this thing. We're the lab rats. This is why when we now see when the introduction of all these things within our society, from the pandemics and the test of diseases and all of these things, it's like we're a bunch of damn lab rats, because our ancestors didn't deal with all of this stuff that we're dealing with today. And it's almost like they created the rats to create the business, to create the profit, and says, okay, we're going to create an issue here that's going to cause them to have this thing, that whatever we want to name it. And then I'm going to create a solution for it over here. And all of a sudden, we're going to make billions and billions of dollars. How do you do that? You got to create a problem. The money comes from the solution. So they create all of these problems that we have, and it's right in front of us every day when it's done. They're using technology to push us into the future where human freedom is nothing but a memory. We can talk about AI. I use AI as a servant to what I'm doing, but there's a lot of things that you don't have to do no more. I was just down the street 2 days ago, and there a fucking 18-wheeler came right by, and it was nobody in it. A truck. An 18-wheeler. It was no driver. It was driving itself. I'm like, they could have did a motorcycle or something, at least if it had an accident, to be not as bad. It was an 18-wheeler driving down the highway with no one in it. And then I was somewhere else, and I looked up, and this big-ass drone was delivering some food. And these people came out, and they dropped their bag, and it was like, yo, and it was gone. And it went back where it's going. And then I was reading that Uber is getting ready to make a drone transportation in the mid cities. In Dallas approved it already. I'm in Dallas, Texas. They already approved it. They're going to have where you can get on an Uber drone and get up and fly. It's like 10 or 13, 15 people standing in, and it just takes you on the other side of town real quickly to and from. But it goes deeper than that. There's a McDonald's that's over here that has no employees. None. It's operated totally off AI. You know how many kids is not working? Children is not going to be able to find jobs. Okay. And I'm not saying that we're not going to evolve, but all right, man, I'm just telling y'all. Renee says she can barely drive through Dallas traffic. Yeah. Someone, Mika say hello, everyone. Roderick, do you still have the book club? Monica had to, concentrate on those children, which was right. And then we was going to find some other people to take it over a little bit, but we have not. So it's just been kind of suspended. I need to just kind of make some time for it. But over these last few weeks, I've been really dealing with a lot of other things and trying to restructure some stuff. So I just have not put it on a agenda of an importance, but I will. We need to. But you're welcome. Still, you can go to the merch site and get all the 400 ebooks. And then when we're ready, I do keep the list of people who have bought it, and then I will email them out from there. Anyway, back off that AI stuff. But my main thing is, when we get down to this, there's going to be a lot of information that a lot of people are going to uncover, and it's going to change their perception of reality of everything. It's going to do that. We can get into it. So let's dive into some of the things right now, because we've been here almost an hour, and we may can be here longer, but I'm not going to go through all this stuff tonight. I'm just trying to come back to you all to see what's going on. Let's talk about, have any of you heard of the 13 families? I'm not going to go deep into all of them at all. And my other question is, do you think that we are under secret society control? Any of you? And if you do, state your claim in the chat. We'll look and see. We have to look at those things. Y'all heard that noise, didn't you? It was loud and clear. Y'all give Rudy a shout out. Yeah, y'all give Rudy a shout out. So, and when you go back to those 13 families, we're talking about the Ashers or something, which they really went down just a while back. I think some years ago were the remaining one. I think they just kind of, well, you're talking about DuPont, McDonald's, you're talking about, of course, the all these subfamilies, and supposedly they have a huge grip on society. And then when you start, I'm doing this research on the secret societies and all these levels of information, that even the secret societies today are compartmentalized to a point that one hand don't really know what the other one's doing. There's people that are in every level of these secret societies that there's stuff above them, above them, above them, and they doing it this way to keep it compartmentalized. Now I understand that because I used to work for the government, and we used to build the harm missile. At that time, it was a classified program. It's not anymore, but we built the guidance system where I was working at. And then there was another part that built another part and another part, different parts of the country. And they strategically made sure that not one company or one section of the company was totally putting together the entire missile. That way they can keep it compartmentalized, even though every facility was capable because they tested, but they did that on purpose. So when I started thinking and reading more of that on the secret society, it made perfectly sense. Because at this point, you want every part of this secret society running as though it is the sugar honey iced tea, and they're going to run that way. But then there's others above that, and go back to those 13 families. Like I said, we're going to do a story on those pretty soon, and I'm going to do each one of them at a time, and so we're going to cover that. Like now, if we as you know, that we're getting closer and closer when it comes down to the alien truth. I think it's time that we all kind of realize that they've been wagging the tail, wagging the dog, or the dog, the tail on the dog when we talk about the term, and we want to use the term disclosure. And we want to say, okay, disclosure is out there, it's intimate, and they're going to disclose things. I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to say it again, and I've said it a few times. I wish I had a little music to make my point. You know what I'm saying? I guess I could. Let me see if I got anything, because I want to make my damn point. All right, so y'all will know. How about this right here? Disclosure. Disclosure will never, ever, ever go away. Okay? And remember, they're going to change the rules. They're going to give us a little bit, and we're going to think we're making some headway, but they're going to stay one step ahead of us. So while we got everybody out there talking about disclosure, Roderick, we're hearing this. Yeah, they give us a little piece of the pie, but the game will never go away. And while we're sitting here and think these politicians are on our side, they can slap them with a piece of paper and say, this is national security. And they're going to bend over. They're going to lie to us. They're going to say they're not opening doors, and they're going to follow order. But while we're sitting here, they work for the same team. They're on the same team, and they're hiding the truth. So when we watch these congressional hearings, read between the lines. They're not telling us shit. You better believe that. Yeah. And while you got all these people out there talking about, well, we're making so much progress. We're making so much progress in all of that stuff. Yeah, and that's something. Yeah, that movie is Wag the Dog. Oh, let me turn this off. It's on repeat. Yeah, so the movie is Wag the Dog. Yeah, it's a great movie. Y'all got to see it. It is a beautiful, beautiful movie from there. The other part is to get to a point. Like I said, we're not going to be here too much longer. I just wanted to kind of touch some things. There was a lot more stuff I was going to talk about, but as I look at my notes, we'll be here for another 2 hours. And I know it's late. I got started late and everything else. And I just miss you all and just wanted to thank each and every one of y'all, and I haven't been here in a while, and pretty much. Is there anything in particular? We're going to be covering some videos. We're going to be doing some things in the future. I am contemplating next week or the week after next to do a daily live stream, or not daily, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but it'll be around 3 p.m. Where it's a little more manageable, and maybe we'll still keep our Fridays at night, especially if I do daily during the day, but it's going to be around 3 p.m. versus everything else. And as we got our truth versus authority, yin yang here. But Yeah, truth versus authority, they work hand in hand. All right, so let's look at anything. Anybody got any questions in the chat? I may, if any of you got your camera on, I may give you a point to drop in with us. I know Rob has been working on his podcast, and I know he's been ready to come on the air and do some things. So I'm not for sure if he's ready right now to come on the air, but if he was, we may consider a few things and get our guy in the deal with us and see what's going on. Low-key said yes, 13 family, 13 months in the original calendar, 12 disciplines, disciples, plus Jesus equal 13 April Fools. Derek said 4 p.m. will be better for me. What time zone? Well, if I did 3 p.m., it would be Central time zone. So if you're in Eastern, that will probably work as well. And pretty much, we can kind of see what's going on there. But yeah, I think it'll be good. And of course, the replays will be up all the day. If somebody else wanted to watch some replays and everything else. So that's not something that is not going to be possible for us to experience from there. All right. So like I said, we're going to get ready to get out here in just a moment. But once again, if you hadn't had an opportunity, I will say we're going to have last call for alcohol. The book of Sacred Secrets is getting ready to go into retirement. And if you hadn't got it, you better go get it. It's everything. It is time for it to go in retirement because it is time for us to take it back. So if you think you got all the knowledge of this world and the sacred side of things, from your body to flat earth to the head, which is heaven, and you learn all of these things and you're ready to understand the numbers and the frequency of things and, the elements and, the list gets going on. Cosmonaut there, Freemasonic stuff there as well. And if you think you've learned all of that, then you are good to go. And Mary said, what do you think is really going on? I think, there is a bigger agenda. I just think it's control. It's pretty much. But here it is right there. It's the book of Sacred Secrets. There is on the thing there. This is it. So once again, it's an instant download. You can print it up like I did. I bought this little thing on Amazon and I printed it up. And it's not a hard copy. It's just really too expensive to do full color, 8.5 by 11. Listen, I was offering hundreds and hundreds of these things. But anyway, I just want y'all to know it's coming to a close. And if you didn't get it and learn stuff, then I'm sorry. The water codes are really deep. And then we have the hidden truth where it talks about, and this time you got to do some research on allodial titles too. So make sure y'all start picking that stuff up. But let me put this on. Mary says, what do you think is really going on? And thank you for the super chat. Yeah. So I'll give her a shout out. I just think that once again, as I just said, there is an agenda for a new world order. And we've used that term very lightly over the years because, we just think a new world order is just, maybe it's a crush of the humans or whatever. Or, I think it's just more of a different playbook on how things need to function. Because, again, hiding the truth from us and trying to make sure that we don't understand. And I'll use a perfect example. Once again, we have crop circles. Crop circles are sacred geometry right in plain sight with energy, by the way. And people still don't question that stuff. They don't ask those things. They just don't. We still got rock formations, like I said, the pyramids. And there are just so many elements that's sitting here on Earth that should have everybody going, who did that? Where that's coming from? Why this? But if they keep us distracted enough, then you just don't. It's just no way. And so I think that's what's really playing and everything else. And like I said, if you didn't get your book of Sacred Secrets, let me take this down. And for all of you who have supported from everything, doing that over the time, I just really want to say thank you. We talked about Project Black. I have now repurposed a lot of things for it, and I will begin to now bring forward some of the people who have come forward and told their stories. I think we have enough of them now, and so I am just so glad to let you know that it is happening right in plain sight. And so we're going to be doing Project Black, the Black League of Alien Contact Knowledge. So if you don't know about it, you definitely want to do that. Mary says, I'm always learning new things. Blue Cruz said, I heard some researchers claim, and put this on the thing. I heard some researchers claim that there are supposedly 100 secret society families, and I don't know if there are any truth to that or not. I think there is a lie. I think it's more than 100. It may be 100 prominent, but there are lots of them out there. I've been looking, and I'm not saying a lie. They just brought down a number. It is more. It is really more. But there are some prominent ones. There are some. I probably got a bunch of books on a lot of secrets. I've been studying that for the last 4 months because we're going to get into it more with truth versus authority. But there is a lot. There is a lot. But okay, we'll do the round number of 100, but we ain't going to say it's no less. We can say a lot more. That's for sure. And we should start our own. We don't know enough things but we can begin to start our own with our own little secret truth versus authority, community hidden signs, our own handshakes and all that stuff. We could do that. I think we could pretty much from there. All right, people. Humans are zero society. Reptilians feed on low vibration. Yes, they do. And reptilians work for Raw. And if humans get... All right, so low-key been spitting stuff out all night tonight. So we can go with that. We can go with that. All right, so before I go, is there anyone else want to show love to the show? The Cash App is at the top. I'm going to give you a shout out where I got you on here. If not, we will end this in about 3 to 4 minutes and we will move on with the day. I'm supposed to, we would do that. Let me see here. I'm just reading some stuff. So if there's anyone want to support, there is up there, and I'll give you a shout out. If not, like I said, we will move on and watch for a new video drop. I think it'll be next week. I'm dropping some new videos. Tuesday night, I drop them on Forbidden Knowledge TV, and then everything else. And so we will be making all that happen as much as possible there. So let me go into the studio here, YouTube studio, so we could do what I need to do here. All right. Okay. I'm just trying to check out this live stuff that we're doing. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you go ahead and do so. And we will be good to go. All right. With that being said, listen, I have much love for each and every one of you. I really do. I always have love for anyone. And definitely if you hear or you come from the other channels and watch me, and I always have a message to my haters. If you can hate me, you don't know me, and I've never met you, but I still love you, and I really do. And I don't want to meet you, but I can still love you. But if you are hating on me week in and week out, then I just want you to know that really you're a fan. You're just really critical, but you're a fan. You're really a fan. And so with that being said, I love each and every one of you. And let's get ready to get out of here. And the next time I'll get here early, like I was supposed to at 8 o'clock. We started an hour and a half too late. So we just ran into more time, but truth seekers, let's get out. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. And hopefully you can hear me okay. And if not, it's all good. We're located, as you know, in that jumbo state. This is where those UFOs come out to play. It's a Texas thing, y'all. Everything in Texas run big. Big minds, big stuff, and big, good-hearted people. Much love.